Reviewing comedy anime is hard. Ignore the sudden transition into a more serious vibe, we are still talking about an anime about a deal. Comedy in general is hard to review, but anime in particular is harder than most, I would say. I'm not one of those pretentious assholes who point their glasses up and say some dumb shit like, "This anime isn't a refined comedy with proper jokes, therefore it's bad and you're stupid for liking it." I understand as much as anyone how stupid modern comedy anime is. And for the most part, I find that stupid stuff hilarious. But the more important reason is the cultural clash. A lot of what Japan finds funny is different from America's. From my experience, and this is very little, mind you, a lot of it relies on the response to the funny thing happening, rather than something stupid just happening. So it's less about whether I find a joke funny, and more about whether the joke was ever really meant for me. I feel like the true thing that led to the series getting this criticism is how the series is structured. A story that came out was that Wit Studio had altered the chapters a little bit to prioritize character introductions before all else. This does break the traditional anime format, since a cute girl anime usually waits right before the end of the first season to introduce the full cast of characters. However, after the student council gets introduced in episode 4, essentially no new other characters get added save for the barista guy. So it does lead to the comedy feeling a little bit old towards the middle section, since nothing new is being added. There are a couple of scenes where it breaks the format. The barista episode was funny because it was a new guy reacting for a change. I loved Anko's and Bashime's scene, and everything involving the student council. But for the most part, it is just Koshitan and Nokotan, with everyone else just being there. I feel like this was an oversight on the staff, and something that does need to be pointed out. But it does feel like Shikanoko missed opportunities to develop Anko, Bashime, and especially the student council. I also think this series works best in shorter doses. When it spends an entire episode on one setting, such as the trivia scene in the sports festival, it felt a lot slower and was less funny to me. There are some exceptions, like the finale, which I found funny, but for the most part, the show works best when episodes are split into separate parts for me. I actually feel like this show would have worked a lot better as a short anime.